DJ Leroy.
Night Watchman, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Well, Night Watchman, I got to thank you because I've been having some technical difficulties over here, but I said I see that
Me
you've been able
too.
to troubleshoot, huh?
I think we were supposed to kill a fatted calf to the gods of technology, and we forgot to do that. So.
Okay, God, I can't keep bringing all these cows over, man. Come on, you got to take care of some of this stuff, man. Well, anyway, we're going to have a good show, man, because we're going to be talking about creatives and entrepreneurs. What do you think?
I love them both.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I will change my role. I will actually let you bring folks up. How about that?
All right, but you do the introductions.
All right, that sounds like a plan. So you know what? We got a returning guest because we love her product, and that could only be Jessica Spaulding. Bring her up.
Yes. Hey, how you doing? Good morning.
How you doing, Jessica?
I'm good. I'm a little sleepy today. It's been a long week, but I'm here.
Well, is that to say that on Saturday and Sunday you rest?
I wish I did. Not lately. Not lately. I've actually not had much rest in a very long time.
I hear the life of an entrepreneur, no doubt, for sure. So, well, Night Watchman, also returning guest.
First, tell us a little bit about what Jessica does.
Well, we're going to get into that. Trust me, we're going to get into it.
Okay, right. All right. Well, let me tell you how to do your job. I'm sorry.
You would. Well, of course, another returning guest actually made a cameo the last time on a show that featured her daughter. That could only be Audrey Sanders. Bring her up.
Hi, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Night Watchman, she has promised to actually bring us some North Carolina barbecue. You know that.
I'm all in for that.
Down.
Exactly. And you know what? We also, because I'm getting a close up. My close up, Mr. DeMille. Yes. And the reason that my skin is so smooth, huh? Michael James. What's up, buddy?
How are you? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, our man, because he's going to be talking about the project, his vision, JT Thompson. Bring him out. JT.
Hey, peace and blessings, everybody.
Absolutely. Right back at you, brother. Right back at you. So Night Watchman, let's get it popping. Let's highlight her because I want to definitely hear about her journey and all the reason that I'm disappointed that we're not in the studio getting some samples. Jessica Spaulding. Jessica.
Yes.
All right. Tell us about the journey, Jessica, and also I do know that you are, and I guess looking for that production facility to really get stuff popping. So tell us about it.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think when we were on before that I don't even remember what point in the business I was. But now we are Harlem Chocolate Factory. We have our location here in Harlem on 138th and 7th Avenue, between 138th and 139th. And we've outgrown the space and we need, we've been looking and we've identified a few spaces, but in this climate, a Black woman raising money to grow a concept is unheard of. I think
a little challenging.
A little challenging. I just ran the numbers myself because I think people can't really conceptualize like how little funding is out there for Black women, and especially as Black women are a part of the marketing a lot of the times around what programs could look like and the support for small business. I think whenever people are talking about supporting small business, they always want to put a Black woman at the face of the program, but it's like 0.34% of funding went to or of venture capital went to Black women. There isn't actually data on bankability, but the overall aspect is many of our businesses are not bankable because we need to use our retained earnings to, grow. So I say all that to say, out of like $170 billion, Black women received 580 million. And there are 21 million Black women-owned businesses. So it comes down to if all 21 million received a piece of that pie, we'd each get $27. So I want people to conceptualize just how difficult it is, and we're the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs. We generate the highest margins. We're faster to employ from our communities and create better businesses to work at. These are like literal facts. You can find the data. And it is just outrageous how little the actual industry supports us. So it is a difficult process, but we're not giving up and we're still going. But that's why I'm so tired, because I am constantly fighting.
Jessica, thank you. And tell us how you really feel. No,
I know, right? Sorry.
I got you. Well, you know what? Of course, after many, many years, you are a private wealth manager for one of the major banks in the country, and that, of course, being Citibank. Okay. Now you have also launched your new platform. So, Audrey, tell us about your journey from a CCNY graduate to now. Tell us.
Well, after 31 years in the industry, I was given an opportunity to launch my own firm. And I chose Harlem because this is my community. I don't live in Harlem, but all of my connections, all of my friends, my family, the majority of the people I interact with are in Harlem. The name of my company is Audrey Sanders Wealth Advisory of Harlem. And what I do is I provide services to individuals, small businesses, foundations, and any entity that has a certain level of assets that would need help with finding better opportunities other than what they would get at a bank, like a savings or a CD. So it's just a great opportunity for me to come out into my community and be of service to my people.
Absolutely. So one thing I'd say, Audrey, is that in terms of you're making your outreach, because I know you're a Brooklyn person, right?
Yes.
But you've been making serious inroads in the community of Harlem. And how have you felt Harlem embracing your concept, your ideas? Has that been a good journey?
It's been a great journey. Still, we have a lot of ground to cover, a lot of people I need to meet, because Harlem is it's a large community, but it's still a small community. Everyone is connected. Everyone knows everyone. And basically how I try to build my brand and to bring brand awareness to myself and what I do, I host educational events as well as fun networking events. And the idea is to get people to come out, maybe have a cocktail with us, hear a concept around in retirement or something regarding your investments. Maybe you have a small business and you need to have a retirement plan in place. We can do all of those things. But the idea is you have to know that I'm here to meet me, and then we can have that conversation.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Night Watch. Yes. So Michael, I've been kind of like bragging that, my skin is smooth like a baby's behind. I've been doing that. Okay?
Well, we're doing our job then.
Exactly. But Michael, now, because you're not originally from Harlem, as we know, and I will also say that, oh my God, you've now come into one of Harlem's royal families, man. Okay, and you are HBCU brother graduate, yes. Okay,
That's right.
Tell me about the entrepreneurial journey for you, and especially skincare, man. Do tell, man.
Well, it has not been a crystal stair for sure. But yeah, so I'm from South Carolina, and so I will say,
South
if you want
Shakalaka. Go ahead.
some real barbecue, some mustard
Yeah.
sauce.
I'm not sure about that.
We could talk about that. But and then I also say that I am a Morehouse grad, so I see Jessica and her partner went to Spelman, so there's love there. But yeah, so I mean, my journey has been, it's been interesting. I started my career in beauty working for Revlon and L'Oreal, and over the time just saw this huge need. A gap in the market for men, and more specifically men of color. And I took the leap of faith and started my own line called Frederick Benjamin Grooming. We've got a line of hair care and skincare products for men with textured hair, men that are suffering from dryness and or razor bumps and burn. And right now we've got a line of about 7 SKUs. And we're sold directly on our website at shopfrederickbenjamin.com, but we're also in about 1,000 Walmart stores across the U.S.
Congrats on that, man, for sure. And tell me, Michael, you remember a program, and Jessica may also be familiar with it. It was called the Harlem Local Vendor Program. That had creatives had their products, right? They would be then sourced and then featured at Whole Foods and or also Columbia University. But tell me, are you familiar with that one?
I am familiar. I did not pursue. I remember when fellow entrepreneurs that I knew, sat with, trade notes with, submitted their applications to get into Whole Foods.
Yep.
And I didn't think, not all accounts are good accounts. And I'm learning that, right? And so, I don't want to. I guess at that point, I didn't want to spread myself too thin. It was one door. Not that one door is a bad thing. It's just timing wasn't right for me. So I kind of passed on that. Okay. And I'm learning though now in this entrepreneurial journey, a good pass, a good hard pass is sometimes better than a great yes, because all yeses can, some yeses can lead you down a dark path.
The wrong path, a dark path.
Right.
Yeah. I got you.
Michael, what's the source of the name Frederick Benjamin?
Yeah, so Frederick Benjamin is my grandfather's name. His name is Frederick Benjamin Shumpert. And naming this thing was a process in and of itself. Long story short, working with a designer, we had all these names, and he just kept stressing to me like, this thing needs a name. And I didn't think, I didn't want to put my name on it because I was just a business guy. I wasn't a barber or a hairdresser or anything of that nature. And so, so I just kind of blurted out my grandfather's name, and
nice.
It just stuck.
Well, beautiful, beautiful. Well, Night Watchman, you know what I'm feeling? Because certainly, remember, I'm from the boogie down. You claim to be from Harlem, but I know different. I know otherwise. Okay,
don't you're not ready for me. So don't fire shots. I'm just gonna pretend you didn't even say that. Because you're not ready. So don't.
You're right.
Don't go down that dark alleyway.
You're absolutely right. So on that note, hopefully I will be rescued by JT, who will tell me his vision for hip hop. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, JT.
Hey, peace and blessings, everyone. It's all about special guests as well, because we all share similar stories and struggles becoming from entrepreneurship, whether that is a small business or trying to build a conglomerate. Me, myself, being a Brooklyn-born, Hollis, Queens raised, and Harlem raised cat. You know, my uncle, my grandfather's brother from Queens lived in Harlem, who I met, and he played with Billie Holiday, Louis Armstrong, Cab Calloway, and all those greats. I seen his names on the record. I was a kid. I didn't understand what it meant, but I understood that they couldn't eat in those places, let alone play in those places or own their music and publishing. So me being a third generation person from the culture, from the arts, from the music, it was imperative that the moves that I made with the Hip Hop Hall of Fame were impeccable. So we started with the actual Hip Hop Hall of Fame. I guess you can say in the early 90s, I was the guy who was credited with making old school hip hop cool. I created a show with broadcast and national syndication and on the BET first ever. And then consequently, Tupac got killed literally 2 weeks after our broadcast. Wow. And then the next thing, so now I'm out doing true peace missions around the country, as with Russell Simmons and the likes of all the other major hip hop artists and groups at that time, and civil rights organizations got a new deal, about to announce it in '97, and then we all know what happened to Biggie. So being an independent producer, counting on advertising, we lost the Kool-Aid Man. He broke through the wall coming to us and left out the same wall. We had the Kraft macaroni and cheese, the Sprite deal. All these sponsors left because of the violence that was in hip hop at that particular time. So we did the Black College Battle of the Bands. We did the National Black College Divine Nine Step Show Championships. We did the football college Heritage Bowl with NBC and McDonald's. Did everything we can to keep the brand alive. So being where we are right now, fast forwarding to today, we feel blessed and fortunate because of hip hop celebrating its 50th anniversary, which I call puberty. Our mission with the Hip Hop Hall of Fame is now, how do we become adults for the next 50 years? So we're talking about socio-economic empowerment, education, and ownership. So the vision for the Hip Hop Hall of Fame at this particular point, yes, the award show is coming back, but I think we're going to be empowering our community because we've been waiting on this project at Penn Station for 5 years quietly, with a museum, a hotel, residential entertainment complex, but because of the Gateway Tunnel money being delayed and it's there now, and MTA and Amtrak and them a little bit slow, you know what I mean? I'm being honest here, right? So what we decided to do, rather than waiting to break ground in 27 and open in 2030, because there's other hip hop museum projects going up, but it's only going to be one Hip Hop Hall of Fame in the whole world, right? So we decided, and we found a location in Harlem right now. We're very pleased to announce we got the Harlem Mist, old Harlem Mist Studios under contract to purchase. I've raised about $4 million already. I got working on the debt financing for 14, and I raised another 8 for rehab, rehab the space and open the space. So it has basically a combination of a Hard Rock Cafe and a Madame Tussauds. So you have the cafe doubles as a culinary school for young people in Harlem. You have the live entertainment space where we do 100 live events between us, and we're going to also offer those to the Harlem community. As being a board member of the Harlem Arts Alliance, it's important that we make this a cultural location, as well as AR and VR exhibits and educational displays for the museum section. So this is the vision right now that we're working, and we're hoping to close this thing out within the next 90 days before summer to be able to make that announcement. And then that will become the integral part with the Media Entertainment Center doubling as a situation, whereas now the young people are learning media, STEAM education, and actually doing real projects for real celebrities.
That's great. Really glad to hear that facility is being used for a purpose that it was intended. So congratulations on that.
Absolutely. But Bob, I definitely do know, and JT, you will confirm that being that it's been lying dormant for a number of years, no doubt there will need to be system upgrades with the equipment there.
Without question. That's why I was being nice when I said we got to raise another $8 million, because we got to rehab everything, come in, new equipment, update, because all that stuff is obsolete. And, you know, we have our own Hip Hop Hall of Fame, Hip Hop City Metaverse coming, as well as something that we're doing with the Harlem Metaverse as well. So we're trying to integrate the digital world and the physical world moving forward in the future for smart cities, e-commerce, small business interaction, as well as community folks. So when you could walk around with your phone in Harlem and it'll pop up from my app and you'll see the historical locations, and AR, VR stuff will pop up. So we're heading into that space now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Jessica, on the note in terms of Michael talking about the Harlem local vendor program, so you're aware of that, right? That's one. And then the other thing I am thinking of, and I'll let you take one by one in terms of the answers, but the other thing in terms of a production facility, okay? Certainly we do know about some of these commercial kitchens. I remember, of course, Hot Bread Kitchen, which we had there, right? I also, funny enough, I visited a program in East Harlem. I believe it's around on 3rd Avenue off of I believe 119th Street or so, something like that. But there is a program, and it's for those entering recovery. And there's a commercial kitchen in that facility that I was, kind of impressed because I didn't even know about it. But tell me about, let's say, in terms of that local Harlem vendor program, and also the search for a viable production facility.
Yeah, I think so. The Harlem Local Vendor Program, we had been a part of it, but the issue is the unit economics. I think people sometimes think that getting into stores is difficult. It's I'm not saying that it's not, but it's not. You have a product. A store is there to sell a product. If you have your marketing together, if you have the product, the issue is always going to come down to price. And the reality being is, can you absorb that wholesale deal? Because you're going to have to sell it to them for them to make a profit. And the price that you've set for it is probably the price that you've set so that you can make a profit. And so what winds up happening is, you may be selling more at a time. Maybe they're ordering a 12 case pack, a 30 case pack, but your product is going to be more expensive than the thing that they are able to make thousands of through private label. And so these kind of big box stores, while they're great marketing opportunities, unless a business is scaled, it's very hard for them to be profitable at the shelf. And so what winds up happening is this beautiful shelf space that you have that highlights how local you are, that starts to move down, and now you're out the way, and you've actually hurt your business because this product that you sell yourself for $5 is selling in the store for 10 and 12. And the one time that it's hard to get into a store is when you lose your shelf space and you want to get back in. It's easy to get in the first time. It is not as easy to get in the second, and it's very rare. So I think that I don't want to be accusatory to the program because I don't know what the success stories are. But big box is only for a very specific point that you're in your business. And I don't know if we've worked out how difficult it can be. And when the programs are not aligned with funding, it can be very, very difficult for businesses to maintain that shelf space. So, and now in terms of a production facility, there's not one production facility that's out there for us. We would have to build it. And I think that's the important point. I think that Harlem is the third most visited neighborhood in New York City by tourists.
That's right.
And with that means that we've really got to invest in experiences. And so while we wanted just a production facility, I realized that the true opportunity was to make it experiential and to have people be able to come in. And so that realigned our search to a more central location. And it'll be the only way that we're able to afford the price per foot, because to me, I didn't want to build a company that honored Harlem through lip service. I wanted us to have an impact. And so I don't want to take our production out of Harlem. I don't want to go to Jersey, go upstate, and
Yes.
impact those neighborhoods and hire those people, just
Right.
because I haven't figured out a way to cover that price per square foot. And so I think by having a tourable space, it allows us to really offset what that price per square foot is for the production of our products.
Gotcha.
So we're looking for a production facility, but we're also looking for impact.
Beautiful. And one thing. So Jessica, I'm seeing the vision that you just kind of explained. So we have an all kind of like glass facility.
Yes.
I have school children coming in.
Yes.
And they can see you guys working and making the chocolate like Willy Wonka.
Yes, literally.
Love it. Okay.
Like people often talk to me and they're like, "Oh, you want to be like this company, or you want to be," and they're naming these kind of smaller companies, and I'm like, no, I actually, coming from the book of Milton Hershey, like Hershey, Pennsylvania exists because he opened a production facility. That's that's the power of chocolate, right? And I think we have the ability here with what we've created to kind of cut out the middleman and create probably something that I feel like can compete in this kind of larger realm. I haven't been as successful as Mr. JT over there on the fundraising, so I'm gonna hit him up privately on how to advise me around how to get the people to do that. But
yes.
I just think that it's if someone can see the vision and understand what the actual opportunity is, and I think that we could really power some things in Harlem. Hershey, Pennsylvania exists because he opened a production facility, not because it existed and he went in and he helped out and revitalized. No, he created a city. Like I need us to get that.
That's right. A city built around chocolate, literally.
A city built around chocolate, literally.
Okay.
Chocolate City.
See, NightWatchman.
I don't want no beef with nobody from DC. I don't want no beef with nobody from DC, so please don't.
NightWatchman, I cannot believe that you went for that low-hanging fruit. I can't believe it. Anyway, having said that, so Audrey, you and your special events, your things. So from, let's say, grooming products to chocolate, I see it right there. Tell us about some of your special events that I know that you've done personally for a number of the nonprofit boards of which you serve.
Well, I assisted with the Boys and Girls Club of Harlem with their spirits and cigar event.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a pretty successful event for them to host, where I brought in Black spirit brands that may or may not have had a presence. And it's basically bringing brand awareness to things and opportunities. We had some cigar vendors. We had the Harlem Cigar Room was there, has always supported. Some of the other events that I've hosted in the past were events that I kind of created an event around an opportunity for my business. So we hosted Wisdom, Wealth, and Wine, where we bring in investment professionals to talk about different asset classes and why you should be invested in those asset classes. And then we would have a speaker from a premier glass company, Riedel, and they would show us how the glasses absolutely make the difference with how you experience the wines. What else have we done? Oh, recently we had Celeste Beatty from Harlem Brewing, and she came and did a presentation where she presented 3 of her beers, and she also had some beer cocktails, and she just recently authored a soul food beer infused cookbook. So we had that was more on the networking side for people from different organizations came out and visited, and we had a really nice time. But the idea for me is to just bring people together. And if there's a brand or an opportunity to support especially a local brand. We welcome that here. In fact, I'm going to go around the corner and see my guy maybe later, maybe next week. I'm sure he's not going to be coming in today, but maybe I'll catch up with him next week and figure out some things that we can do. And then, of course, Jessica knows every time I go to New Jersey, I stop by and I get truffles to take my friends out of New Jersey. But we're going to figure out some opportunities where we can show people opportunities to save, invest, around their personal wealth, and then expose them to opportunities and businesses in the community. So it's just a fun time to be had by all.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I guess one of the things I'm thinking of, a night watchman, help me here. Okay, there you go. Just want to know what you, Michael, certainly in terms of, I know you're basically, I would say, somewhat reserved and also fall back on some level. Okay. So how did you get out of that, go out of your comfort zone and start to really, really talk about your company and your product out of necessity? Or did you just feel this inner urge, I really want to get this out there. I really want to do this. And also, remember, you're also a father, family man. So tell me, how do you balance that?
Yeah. Well, I've never considered myself to be an entrepreneur. So that's it.
Wow.
That is, observant of you. I am pretty reserved. But I guess, so it took me a while to get the nerve up to actually do this. And I mean, it's still an ongoing challenge, if you will. But I guess for me is I came from the industry. I did the numbers, 68 ways to Sunday. I had a little cash in the bank. And so, I took a shot. And but even after that, I found myself with a warehouse full of inventory.
Wow.
And then it was like, all right, well, this stuff can't sell itself. And so, I had to really kind of psych myself out to actually load up the trunk and sell this products kind of the Jay-Z way, if you will. And that was just going from barbershop to barbershop. And so, it was difficult for me, right? Because I'm not. I guess I can be a salesman if I have to be, and in this case, I needed to be.
Yeah.
But I really had a strategy, right? And it was, I want barbershops to sell this product and introduce them to their customers. I knew that I needed about X number of chairs, maybe 3 to 4 chairs. They needed to have a shampoo bowl, if you will. And so when I was out there, I'd had a list. I'd go to all the shops that I knew was going to say no to get those no's out the way. And so my nerves were good enough to when I was into the shops that I needed, my tongue was a little sharper, my pitch was a little sharper, and I was able to get it in. And I just did that up and down the 95 from New York to, Philly, DC. I had my best market was in DC. But yeah, I mean, and so, just laying that groundwork, also just kind of started to grow the .com. And so, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I had to really break out of the mold. And, one other thing is, yes, I had a family, and 2, I had all my cash, so a lot of my savings in boxes.
Oh,
and
wow.
So it was like, all right, so they're not going to sell themselves. And so, but it's still a hustle. So I'm still working through things, if you will.
Gotcha.
So Michael, you mentioned that you were in the industry before. So what were you doing before And tell me about the transition point where you decided, maybe there's a better way for me to do this.
Yeah, so I was a brand manager. First at Revlon, straight out of business school. I went to Revlon and managed Mitchum deodorant, Almay, and this dollar brand called High and Dry. I had 3 brands at the time. And so, that's where I really got to understand, at the end of the day, what the products that we're making, they're all widgets, right? So whether it's metal widget or edible, it's all a widget. And so I got to really understand those unit economics and try to figure out how that works. But then also, I was doing strategy work as well, right? So not only looking at what we could sell to women, but I was across the hall from me was a team trying to figure out men's. And so when they came out with their men product, I just sat back and was like, oh yeah, no, they're missing the mark on a number of things. And then that got me curious to start doing my own homework at night, moonlighting. And I was like, okay, they're definitely missing the mark. And there is this, there's a lane for men of color because, the women's ethnic market was, has always been gold and growing fast. And so, one of the brands that I worked on at L'Oreal was Mazzani, which is, an ethnic, or what we call, ethnic brand. And so I spent, a lot of time not only managing that brand, but also in the salons, talking to the stylists, figuring out what they want. And there was a barbershop next to all these salons. So I popped my head in there as well. And so you go from having a lot of products not only in service, but in retail, to not having products at all in the barbershop. And so all these things just started to click, which made, which led me to, this journey. But I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'm a 3rd generation entrepreneur. So my grandfather owned a lumber company, started a lumber company in 1930, some in the 30s in Colombia. My parents took it over. And so, I grew up on a lumber yard, driving forklifts, making truck deliveries and things of that nature. So I had it. I always knew I wanted to do something on my own. I thought I was a little big for South Carolina at the time, so I didn't want to go back. But that's kind of the thought process there.
Part of the northward migration. I like this. So JT, you're wowing folks with your capital raise. Okay.
Yes, I love this one.
Exactly. So as I say, tell us more, especially bricks and mortar is probably the hardest thing to do, man. So what has been your secret in terms of your connection and being able to have your vision resonate?
Well, I can appreciate that, and I can appreciate everything that everyone else is going through as well, and the success of Miss Audrey in the industry herself and capitalization herself. I mean, she's seen probably $1 billion deals. You know what I mean? So what really sets this apart is you guys got to understand, hip hop is a multi-billion-dollar business. It generates from fans as well as consumption or consumers, as well as influencers. And it influenced the spend of over $1 trillion a year annually, right? So I kind of have my stuff baked in, guys. I'm just going to tell you, just so that you know. It's baked in because I'm a part of a culture and I have a brand that actually the culture I haven't even fully exploited it yet, because, sometimes you get out there and you got people copycatting everything you do. You know what I mean? And especially as African-Americans. I mean, one guy makes headphones, now 10 guys making headphones. I'm like, come on, guys. Don't y'all know there's other sections of electronic products that we need to be in, But I'm just using that as a metaphor to say what really made this thing easier for me is the fact that it's a real estate deal. I'm in real estate. I also run Renaissance Equity Ventures. We have maybe 12 buildings in 2 states, family stuff from way back in the day. So I was able to launch that way. So from the real estate standpoint, and that's why when she talked about Chocolate City, I mean, I'm throwing Chocolate City out there. It's really New Orleans, right? New Orleans, Chocolate City. But my point is, if she's talking about doing an experiential facility, so identifying that space, putting her concept together, not just a business plan, but a real visualization of people walking by, all those things, then do your projections and your numbers, that might put her in a better position because she's created not just, I hope the chocolate sells, but we have a cafe. I'm throwing some stuff out here. This is free game. I got a cafe or a bar with it where it's just like a wine tasting or whatever the case is, chocolate tasting, but other food products. So now it's more of a sustainable piece that a bank or an investor can look at. Me personally, being a former ball player, I have certain relationships with other folks as well. So it enabled me to do this because they knew they was getting their money back within about 3 years. So that's how that worked for me. So I just said that to say, even hearing what Michael was talking about, how he had to come out of his comfort zone. I was already out of my comfort zone, but I didn't have the money zone. I've watched hip hop guys when the .com era came, they was doing deals on napkins, and I watched the same people get 50 million, burn through that cash, come back again with another 50 million. And I was saying to myself, how are you guys burning through this capital? I would have this thing up and running. You know what I mean? Like sustainable. So you could say who you know, but I think that's why we're launching the Hip Hop Economic Development Conference. We formed Hip Hop Economic Development LLC right after the pandemic. So we're launching the first inaugural conference at the Schomburg Theater. I think that's going to be on May 30th, that last Friday. I don't make sure I got the right date there. I'll put it in. Yeah, it is Friday, May 30th, right? Okay. So what the plan is, so for other entrepreneurs, hip hop, we can't just be music and ball players. We now have to expand across all these other sectors of health, legal, entrepreneurship, manufacturing, supply chain. I mean, there's a ton of things we could talk about, Curtis, because this is what you do as an empowerment zone guy, right? So I'm saying we want to create a forum now where hip hop can take more of a leadership role and not just talking about giving away turkeys, but if you teach a man to fish, he can buy his own. He can buy his own fish, right? And that's what we're trying to head through. So this first inaugural conference is going to be a one-day affair, probably about 6 or 7 panels. But the unique piece is, downstairs, we're going to do an advanced financial literacy in partnership with the 40 HBCUs I've connected with. We're working on data centers, infrastructure, and other financial mechanisms with municipal bonds and other things so that we now can get politicians, bankers, school presidents, and communities and borough presidents, if you will, and counties to figure out how they can find new resources that are untapped that they already have. It's a term called data sovereignty. So you guys are going to be hearing about this data sovereignty. What that means is while we've been on this call, somebody's already made $1 million already just off the data of everybody being on the things that they're utilizing, right? Gotcha. So how do we now not let the tech companies give us a data center and then take the data out and we don't make no money in this community? How can now the communities now own these particular products, the data and power, which we're creating with these folks? So now you build your own data centers, you use your municipal bonds. Now you create an extra $500 million to $1 billion for you to invest in your own local communities. Like support your new businesses, support your schools, support your infrastructure, your roads, and the things that's missing, and affordable housing and workforce development. Key term in the future.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for that. So, NightWatchman, I saw your ears peeking up. What are you thinking?
Well, I love to hear what he was saying. I'm very, very interested in the conference that you're doing, and I want to have some conversation with you offline about that because I have some. I think I have some information and resources that I think is pertinent to what you're doing. But most importantly, the idea that this is a time that we need to rethink just how business operates. You know, technology has made such changes, and some of these changes level the playing field, but other changes, if we're not responsive now, can create another playing field where we're not even on it. So, but the other thing that is important to understand that the way America is set right now, you have more rights as a business than you do as a person. And we're going into an era where jobs as we know it are disappearing due to AI and automation. So we have to shift our focus from jobs and businesses to businesses and revenue streams, in order that we can, make sure that we have sustainable existences. And so I think everybody on here has pursued something that was a passion and turned it into a business. And that's the right move right now because, so many people have, assumed that their job was not in jeopardy. I mean, if you think about it, if you remember, what was the movie Hollywood Shuffle, where the end was, well, you can always get a good job at the post office. And now,
not anymore.
Those government jobs just all disappeared overnight.
Done.
So the thing is that the risk profile has changed. It used to be that being an entrepreneur was the risky thing, and having the regular job with the 9-to-5 bi-weekly paycheck and benefits was the low risk.
Right.
And it's not low risk; it's just a different risk because unfortunately, in the private sector, they're already making moves to eliminate jobs en masse.
Yeah.
And also, if you see, remember that Elon Musk showed his playbook, last year or the year before. When he came and took over Twitter, the first thing he did was eliminate half the staff. And the reason why that is because he envisions that he can replace half that staff with AI and robots.
Yeah.
And now he's in a position where he's trying to do the same thing with the government.
Yes.
Slash the jobs without regard to the families, without regard to the fact that those incomes come back into the economy. It's that spending that drives the economy. And so there's a certain thoughtlessness and recklessness when it comes to economic principles that are in play, which means that, we as entrepreneurs are in an interesting situation, but we've already been out there. So we have to be more adaptable, not less. And the adaptability that's allowed Black entrepreneurs to survive is the thing that's going to help us because, as Jessica talked about, we don't have the luxury of having businesses where we just throw money around, or as JT mentioned, in the start of the internet phase, you would see these people, they would raise a whole bunch of money, blow through it, and they knew that they didn't ever have to pay it back. They didn't have to sign personal guarantees on it. And so they would just blow through it and then reinvent themselves. They would reinvent themselves somewhere else and just keep moving.
And you know what, Night Watchman? Collaborations, partnerships. Have you found, let's say, any like-minded folk out there who share a similar vision, or not competition, but you can literally work with?
You ask me?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
No, that's Jessica.
That's
Jessica.
No, that's the way that we've done it. Like we've partnered. Audrey was and has been and always will be hopefully always will be, but always has been like, amazing support to us. I like to say that, we're here because of how collaborative, like I want Harlem Chocolate Factory to be the test proof that of all the negative marketing that I feel like Black people get, right? Like we get told that we don't stick together. We get told that we don't do this.
Yes.
And our business is here because Black women and Black men have pushed us forward and have collaborated with us. Like, speaking of hip hop, like, I have a lot of friends that are rappers and in the industry. We're about to come out with a bar with Dave East. So it's like, this is, we, you know, and this is not something where it's all the lawyers involved and the licensing and all these things that happen sometimes. It's just straight up like, I believe in what you're doing. Let's do something that pushes us forward. And people putting my name in the hat for opportunities. And like, we have the dessert on the menu at the best restaurant in New York City. And that's not my opinion. That is the New York Times, at Tatiana, because Chef Poncé is like, you know, we both started in Hot Bread Kitchen, and and we're about to do some major things over there. So like, I think collaboration is the way that we do. I think we need to look at doing business differently. Like, we are a communal minded people. And that means that we need to shift our models away with the CEO that goes on tops and squeezes out all the labor from everyone. I think that if we build communities of businesses that can all intermingle and support each other, this thing that they're saying we're incapable of doing, right? They accuse us of being crabs in a barrel who only want the worst for us. And I'm not saying they're not horrible people out here. There are, protect your neck. But at the same time, like, for the most part, we look out for each other. Like, my business is open today because during the pandemic, when I was like, I don't think we're gonna make it, the community showed up and had a line wrapped around the corner on the day that I was like, oh, I don't think we're gonna be able to reopen. And they were like, oh no, you better. And so like, I think collaboration is the way to go, and it's why we've done that. I've spent $0 on marketing and hit 7 figures. So it's possible. And that's all because some Black man, some Black woman came in and was like, no, I want y'all to do this. Like, I want y'all to have this. I want you to carry this. And they've, it's been a support, you know, throughout this entire time.
Beautiful.
Hey, you can't leave the Hip Hop Hall of Fame goodie bag out of it. Come on now.
Absolutely not.
And I got you in our spot. I mean, that's
absolutely. That was easy.
See, what you guys are talking about, these things should be automatic. These things should not be something we have to get these lawyers and all that stuff she's talking about. It shouldn't be nothing like that. We should want to collaborate and see each other successful. So I'm with you, Ms. Jessica. And what my brother was talking about with Frederick James, he went and he talking about Jay-Z out the trunk. Well, let me just add a little something, brother. We was doing out the trunk way before Jay-Z, okay? And I'm talking about E42, Short, Master P. I have my own record label out the Bay as well as in LA. And when we sold 100,000 out the trunk, we literally made the full 800,000 because we had to give 20 to the P&D. So we had those independent deals before people even thought about it. So you're doing it the right way. The thing is, now that you done bootstrap that, how do we now take it from that to make sure that your Shopify page and your marketing and all those other things, same with the chocolate, same with us. We have to embrace this technology, embrace these direct sales, as well as establish ourselves locally.
Nice. And you know what, JT, I got to definitely give a major shout out. Yesterday, my son, him and his girlfriend treated me and my wife to a beautiful thing. And this is the 30th year anniversary of
the Roots.
And you know, they came through. Philly was up in the house there.
Wow.
And remember, back in the day, wasn't hip hop supposed to be a passing phase?
Wasn't it? Go get a job. Go get a real job. Go do this. And now we done created jobs. But let's not lose sight of this. Curtis, people like you have opened many doors for people like us. And I just want to be one of the ones to say thank you right here on this broadcast.
I was about to say the same thing.
You and people like you, we would not even be here. Your excellent due diligence helped me in the moves I was making. I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you and show gratitude and appreciation.
JT, thank you so much for that. Mike, y'all, all of y'all. So okay, Audrey, you hear the clarion call right there. Okay?
Yes.
So what you gonna do about it?
Well, I'm going to hit everybody up And I'm gonna start adding Jessica's product to my client events. And any goodie bag I have, I'm gonna figure out how to get her product in the goodie bag and set up some opportunities for her to sell to my client base, to my audience. Michael, I want to get you because I do a lot of women events, and all of these women have men, right? So what better way to have another target audience where they can come sample, and since we're in the same space, they can sample what you have and pick up some things to take home to their significant others. And Sir JT, we are going to figure out how to do it. You mentioned bonds. I buy bonds for my clients. I would love to see some kind of Harlem hip hop bond with a AA rating that I can put in my portfolio. So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of dreaming that's going on. And some of this we can actually make happen really soon. So let's rock and roll, guys.
I was going to say, these aren't dreams. These are realities, because we've all done these things. And same thing for you, Brother Michael. You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that about the Sutton family, how they had my back when I launched the Hip Hop Hall of Fame award show at the original Victoria. Charlotte and them had my back. So anything that we can do to pay it forward, my brother, just pick up the phone. Holler.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. Nice. And likewise.
Nice. Yeah. Speaking of, I love Audrey, and thank you for bringing Michael into this thing in terms of the goodie bags, because Lord knows I love going to an event, getting a goodie bag, and something that I can actually use. So yes.
We're in the lightning round.
Michael, do you currently provide supplies in some goodie bags, man?
We do. We try to do a lot. Sampling is expensive, to be honest with you. It's like, but
Jessica, I saw you shake your head, correct?
Yeah, I've already ruined the business with that. I tried to start my chocolate company when I was 19 and in college, and I was listening to the advice of some people who have absolutely no idea about business, and everybody was like, "You gotta sample it. You gotta sample it. You gotta sample it." And I had like $300 from my refund check. That's what I started my whole business with. And I went out and I made the best chocolate, and I gave it out to any and everyone who would try it. And everyone called me, "Oh, come bring your chocolate. So we having this event." And I'm like, "Okay, great. And the idea was that somebody was going to sample it, and then it was just going to blow up. It was going to get to a certain celebrity, whatever. And that was the marketing plan, and that was the sales plan. That was the whole business plan. And I want to say I ran out of money probably in like 3 to 4 weeks. And I was like, okay, I can't buy any more chocolate because I also have to pay rent, and I don't know what I'm doing. And so yeah, I would not advise, there's unless you have the cash to burn, right? Like sampling it's a marketing plan. It is but you have to have the money.
Or sell at the event, at the table, cash and carry.
Absolutely.
Apple iPhone thing. You know
absolutely.
So there's a way. You still technically you're sampling, but
we have that now, but there's a plan there, right? Like I think that unfortunately a lot of times our businesses are pushed, and the stress is put on us to kind of like figure out how to lower our pricing, how to give things away for free. And if you do not have a directed plan around it, like we used to take every single pop-up opportunity until I kind of made the cost. Like, this is how much it cost us to show up. Also, I tell everybody, Harlem Chocolate Factory sells chocolate. Jessica Spaulding, you got to pay for her time now. I've been doing this for 10 years. So you cannot, you want me to show up, I can have someone, we have people who will show up and they can sell and they can sample things. And we have specific products that fit that. But you want me to come? Let me tell you something. It's a whole separate fee. It's a whole separate fee.
You are a boss. Respect.
Folks, we are at the lightning round. So lightning round means that anything that the public needs to know, you have a time limit to get it out there. So you know what? We will start. Michael, tell us where can we find the product, where we can buy the product. Also, do you have that digital platform? Go ahead, NightWatchman, light them up. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we do have the digital platform. You can find us at shopfrederickbenjamin.com.
Yes, nice.
And I know we're in a tricky time right now with the politics. We are in Walmart. So if you happen to find yourself in a Walmart, you can pick us up there.
Beautiful, beautiful. JT, what we got cooking? Go ahead.
Hey, everybody, the Hip Hop Hall of Fame. We love all of you and thank you for your support. You can join us at the Hip Hop Economic Development Conference on Friday, May 30th from 10 to 6 at the Schomburg Museum. And then we also have the Hip Hop Legends and Icons Awards on Friday, June 27th. So we're basically coming back out now, ready to engage the community. And we're also letting you know that with the space that we're opening up in Harlem, it's going to be your space, not just our space. You can come eat, you can watch shows, live events, come to the museum, your school kids, curriculums, all the rest. We're here for you as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. Jessica, what we got cooking?
Hey guys, you can reach us at harlemchocolatefactory.com, or you can come to our store at 2363 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard between 138th and 139th. You can find us on Instagram at Harlem Chocolate Factory. Our bars are popping up all over the city. There's a whole bunch of places. So, but if you're in Harlem, you can come here. You can go to Nilu on 119th and pick yourself up a bar.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Audrey.
Yes. I'm having my next event on Tuesday, March 25th. It's Women, Confidence, and Retirement. And that's going to be followed by a special presentation by Frisky Whiskey, which is a Black woman-owned caramel-flavored whiskey brand. And I'm going to see if I can get someone from Jessica's team to be there to sell some of her chocolate bars.
Ooh,
So Jess, I'm going to reach out to you later this afternoon, and maybe someone from your team could come. I'll give you a table, you set up, and you can sell as much as you can.
Beautiful, beautiful. NightWatchman, take us home.
You've been listening to Soul Lounge Primetime on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. Also live streaming on YouTube and Facebook, and you can always find us on Monday night, 7 o'clock on the radio, 8 o'clock on your favorite platforms, YouTube and Facebook. And thanks to these great entrepreneurs who embody the spirit, the will, and determination, and the future.
Well, NightWatchman, the question is, will they all be invited back to the cookout? Just one.
Oh, absolutely. Number one, everybody's gonna show up at the cookout with beautiful skin.
Yeah. Woo.
Wonderful chocolates.
Yes. And South Carolina and North Carolina barbecue, baby.
Yeah, dropping some serious beats, and they're gonna have their wealth taken care of. So
That's right.
That's how we're rolling in Harlem.
Y'all, great show. And please, if you haven't gotten him the headshot, get him the headshot, please, because he drives me crazy on it. Please.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right,
Thank you.
Peace and blessings.